The new patch has introduced notable shifts in the meta. 1 cost reroll is far less prominent, and the meta has shifted towards fast 8 and fast 9 AP, with Corky Riven and Yi retaining their spots. My name is Boris, and today we'll be jumping in game with Voltariux, who is a 1.2k LP player on the EU West and was the EU champion in set 14. Holding back a little bit on the cheat sheets, as I want to see the meta fully settle and provide you with all the information that is available at that point, and it's complete. For example, we know that Asol is quite strong in its unmech'd form, but I want to make sure we have caught all the variations. We are playing an encounter with 5 rerolls reduced from 8 onto 1, so originally this would be quite heavy in the 1 cost reroll. We can see already holding onto the potential for TFs, holding onto the Teemos and Lissandras, giving possible ways how we could be playing around this. Have the Vanguards, but opted to sell the Leona, which is signaling quite strongly that we are not going to be playing into that. Teemo reroll made a TF2, possibly could be playing around it, but with the Jax and TF nerfs, this comp is not performing, in my opinion, as strong. For our augment selection, Clear Mind is considered to be one of the weaker econ options you can get. Top players are capable of executing this, as it requires you to be spiking on the PvE rounds. It does not count on the PvE round, and then figure out from there, but you're generally going to be playing from Lost Streak. And right now could be perhaps playing into Asol, but the value you gain is not that high compared to Slammin, even though nerfed plays more safe and plays more into that tempo. We have a potential for spikes as well, since we have pairs, therefore Clear Mind is not as appealing to us. Pandora's items could potentially accelerate our item economy. You do not want to be using this to greed hard bis, you ideally are using this to tempo with the extra components you get. But I would be perhaps leaning more into the Slammin option. With this reduced to 5 rerolls and the 1 cost reroll not being as prominent, we could potentially use this for another spike. Now this is an interesting pick that I definitely did not see. We have pairs, and he seems to be leaning the Clear Mind, he seems to be preferring it. Our other option is Savings Account, which would be more, again, into this Lost Streak kind of play. Spirited Redemption, with the nerfs to Spirit Visage, has not been that strong. We do not have an upgraded frontliner, but he's clicking Clear Mind, which is a very interesting choice for myself. Perhaps he's very committed to some form of a Lost Streak. Now we have to either level here or field this Cho'Gath pair. We're going to be opting to just hold on to Lissandra pair, have this Cho'Gath. So we're very committed to this Lost Streak right now, and we did not really give a scout around the lobby either. So I'm very interested to see how he's going to be approaching this game. What could he be angling? Most likely it's some form of a, given our components as well, fast 8, fast 9 AP kind of style. But this is still an interesting choice. Again, I have seen top players, apart from someone like Setsuko, deter away from this Clear Mind augment. But perhaps he simply has the read that he's able to pull this off. And as you know, Setsuko is a master player who can... top tier player who's master at his craft at being able to pull these very high econ transitions, go down to 1 or 2 lives and win out from there. Therefore, the rest of the lobby is most likely has potentially used their rerolls to try establish some tempo, might do so later now in stage 3 as well, and we just have to be wary to not take too large of a losses, as we would ideally be entering stage 4 with at least 2 lives rolling down on the 3-7. But we can use this opportunity to chat a little bit at a meta. As mentioned, Asol is very prominent. There are quite a few variations how you can play it, with the Dark Star emblems going to be played more into that Dark Star. Otherwise you can play it into some form of a Vanguard board. Whereas LeBlanc, even though it has received quite a few buffs, still retaining on that LeBlanc board is not as strong. There has been some notes. Let me quickly pull it up here before our god selection. If we quickly take a look here, I filtered the LeBlanc and Karma, which should be your 2 main carries, into the board. And you can see by the units also suggested this is going to be your standard LeBlanc board. But there's an interesting part to note. One, capping around Sona at the moment is more popular and stronger than capping around Wex, which would be the general transition you do. Still going to be quite a higher cap. And if we look by traits as well, the part to note that transitioning into 5 Shepherd with that Soda is stronger than playing around the usual 3 Shepherd. You get the Sona in, and then you can have the Lissandra, Meepsy, Ilawi be around your core. Now let's jump into our god selection for now. We are playing in the Ari and the Echo game, and he's immediately ripping the artifact. We are playing on the Lost Streak. We can take the delayed value, picking up that Ilawi, which is going to potentially, if we can link, we can form some kind of around a Shepherd core board and start killing some units. But it seems that he has very clear game plan already from here. If you're taking me with his bow, either some form of LeBlanc already is noted, or perhaps a Void Staff. Now, I assume he's holding on to here with potential to decide what kind of a board he might be playing. But the thing is, I'm quite certain once you move, your orb gets transition. Okay, he's hiding his anima. This guy is a top tier tech player, as you can see. Found the anima, hiding it so the players don't see it, and immediately pooping it in. Going up against the Mordekaiser hero, I've just seen has some about average results. It's definitely playable now if you have the spot and the slams. BT seems to be one of the mandatory slams, and then we still have to gather more data. Also going to be looking into that for you guys once we get more data. Also with the B patch, I wanted to deter to see what they're going to changing. Didn't see any champion nerfs. Aurelion's apparently damage range got bug fixed, so it's now proper, but we'll have to see. I would assume that his AVP still remains high as we figure out the best builds for him and the best boards with all the flexible variations. Could be played very similarly to your AP Flex board. We have completed our 5 streak here now. Just want to field a couple of units here so we can ensure they kill, picking up an Aatrox pair. And now we are, hopefully should have it strong enough a board. We have the frontline presence, we have a little bit of damage. Definitely should be quite safe since these are not the Krugs that heal, so we should be fine to be killing it. You can keep these component anvils, I'm quite certain, on your bench without spoiling your clear mind. Selling this, and as you could see, even though we sold it, we still did not gain the extra 3 HP. So when you're playing clear mind, something like this, or even when you play a cluttered mind, it's fine that you don't have a full or empty bench on these PvE rounds. Other parts to note about meta, China seems to quite like the Lissandro reroll. Still, even though the 1-cost reroll is not as prominent, they seem to like it very much. Not exactly sure of the reason. Could be perhaps from very high tempo spots. Corky Riven and Master Yi have retained their spot, and from the right slams can be definitely quite strong to be played around still. Just remember to have your setups. I've made videos on them also on my channel. But on the next God's Augment selection, we are going to have this one artifact coming in, so potentially some combo with Sweet Treats if you're holding on to that could be a good. Giant but Mighty would be losing the value right away. Min-Max could provide you with more component direction, and if you're playing for a board that wants to hard stabilize, we would love to have great item slams on coming up on the stage for Sweet Treats. Is decent in that form of aspect. Now, Cursed Crown, we're going to be defaulting Sweet Treats for that reason. Again, a little bit combat value and potential to synergize with the artifact. Cursed Crown, we just cannot take it. We're going on a lost streak. One overflow though. If our plan is definitely to be playing into some form of maybe, could open it up. Win out would have been an absolutely ballsy strategy from here, but this is going to provide us with the strongest potential right from the get-go. Looking to open some of these anvils as we could be making slams here. Getting Spark here. Get the Nashers and Rageblade and a Death Cap, so we're going to have our carry items sorted out. These rest of the rods and tier could transition also easily into tank items if we get some, as we would want to have a 3-item tank obviously going into the next stage as well. So continuing our lost streak here, we have a Rast. Can't be able to get it in. I definitely think we want to be holding on to this Laui pair, and the Mordekaiser nicely fits in, gives us potential to be playing around this ASOL. Regarding ASOL, the mech, the OG mech with the lost streak into 6 mech is also still quite prominent. Can be played from these anima cash out spots. Do not think this is going to be our plan into this game, but you have to be wary how contested it is. The Mighty Mech is used as a frontline also for one of these unmeched Aurelion Soul variations, as well as definitely tossed into these Dark Star of Harms for the Voyager. For our next selection, we could just be ripping 2/5 cost here. We definitely think we want to be aligning ourselves with the Echo here for that anomaly. Provides us either a tank item or another item for a secondary AP carry. We should be fine on gold if we're completing our lost streak. So are we going to pick up a Tomkench? It's another Rod, so perhaps another Death Cap. And potential for a little bit extra resources, but that's probably going to come after our roll down, which we want to be completing. Now, if we're getting 65, we're getting 70 next turn, so perhaps we're able to complete a 500 cash if we're able to kill just a single unit here. Going to leveling 7, slotting in that Tomkench. Just quickly looking at around the lobby and seeing that no one's going to be contesting our lost streak, so continuing on to that. This Mordekaiser hero, they have the precision. I gotta recall the name of this augment, but it apparently also got gunpick, so it properly gives the crit right now. Right, so we need to kill 9 more units actually to get the 400 cash. Now this is going to be a little iffy. Are we just going to be... We're going to be saving. So this is going to be tricky. I think we are gaining 70, right? Still, we are mapping out the board here, and yeah, another variation is this Lissandra Karma Flex that I wanted to talk about, but we're seeing it right here on the board. Again, with both giving with the Morgana being a more flexible unit we can be picking up, having the Morgana and the Rast and the Vanguards with the Shepherd and the Karma and Nami backline is a very strong of a board to be playing around as well, giving so many options for these AP lines right now. So definitely if you're going to be playing Corki or Riven or Master Yi, you want to have that setup, you ideally want to have that tempo and obviously uncontested. But it's nice to pick up these placements as everyone's so hot onto this AP flex right now. Our artifact is the Talisman, which is going to be, well, for a tank item for now, but we're going in our roll down right away. He's quite confident in himself that he did not want to be doing the roll down on the PvE round, which is generally what you want to be doing, because it's quite hard to execute here with these components on your bench. We do not really upgrade anything apart from this Lealawi. Are we going to be, thankfully we queue into a weak player, so we're not going to be dropping down to an absolute 0 of lives. Now we could be taking a low unit loss onto this combo, but we definitely want to be winning this round right now, and thankfully we have just enough. You can see the single level star level Sona already ripping so much damage. Just quickly, like obviously part of it is because we don't have that much other damage on our board, but already 6,000 damage just from one star level, and this allows us to keep the anima in and complete the 400 cash out. This guy is a little bit too risky for my play, but he believes in his skill and confidence is going to take you far. For our next selection, we could be just ripping Misfits right here. Dark Lady being a forecast gives a little bit then direct buff to this augment. Charge transfer, we're not going to be having that much overkill, and Exiles could provide us a little bit more frontline sustain. I think we're lacking a little bit on the frontline, so maybe he's valuing that in terms of combat. Jeweled Lotus got nerfed. We have a Jeweled Gauntlet one already made. I do not think we want to be picking this up. He's picking up a charge transfer. Does he value the damage jump so high? And we had 2 Jeweled Gauntlets as well, so yeah. Definitely plays that I am not seeing, but hey, I'm here to learn. This is the reason why I do these VOD reviews, and as if you don't know, I started them simply to encourage myself to be learning the game, and we are definitely learning from this one. Trying to execute, trying to flex around this ASOL, but we find a Bard as well, so now we are in more of a like a weird state. We do not have the board, does not have that much synergy. Using our dupes for a little bit of extra econ wasn't exactly perhaps the cash out we're looking for, but we got a tank item which fits us nicely until we are going to get into that anomaly. We have dual carries set up, but you can see him masterfully executing this roll down in a very flexible way. Now we have to give up onto this LeBlanc, as we do not have at least a single Rage Blade for her, transitioning our items to Morgana, which we're going to simply value to be a stronger tank than the Nunu. See that there's a mech player, did not find a more Aurelian Souls ourselves as well, and you can see this Darkstar mech here. Well, it's on a 1 star, but still absolutely ripping a lot of damage, but this procs in and, well, fight of 1 star. Sona 1 against Aurelian 1, both are absolutely busted. For our last God's selection, if we wanted to rebound our econ, we could be going with the Ahri here. But since we're playing around so many 5 costs, and if we believe that we're strong enough right now, what I wanted to do is counter out the lobby to ensure that we can definitely be taking this and hopefully upgrading on one of our 5 costs, which should lead us away to the level 9 from here. But I'm bothering regarding the charge transfer. Perhaps I'm not super familiar with the Sona spell, as I have not had that many reps on her myself, but perhaps he's believing that the charge transfer from the Sona's large cast is worthwhile, plus providing damage amp. We have AP in our build, we have attack speed, we have the crit, so technically damage amp is what we're lacking, but the death cap does provide some of it, right, as well, so perhaps he's valuing it quite a bit. Have to keep note of how this is going to work out. We are obviously sacrificing our clear mind value right here, as we want to be holding on to this Rust. This is going to be our next natural in, and this makes it quite of a nicer board right here traits wise. Now 3 Vanguard, a little bit is what it is. Perhaps we would give up on the Nunu, but you do not want to be open selling Nunu too, and we want to have this Darkstar in. So wondering what it could become in place of that. Could just be something like maybe a Shen. Or a psionic unit as well. Did not catch what our psionic item just was. But here we have an open glove and tier, and we have the shred sorted out, so we could be looking for potential better tank upgrades. This would be, I don't think we're making a last whisper, so we're looking to complete something from these components right here. We do not have an anti-heal, right? Yeah, we do not have that, so we're going to be making the red buff right here. Steadfast is going to complete it nicely, and we have double tank as well coming in, going to transition some of that utility onto the bard and just a Shojin on a Karma, and we are fine to be tossing this open belt wherever. Checking if you are on interval, get this 5-cost shop per ember, you have to roll for it whenever you pick it up, and get the 2-star Sona and bard, and now we're in an insane spot. We definitely are stronger than anyone, at least till about the next couple of ticks. But here comes a Vex 2, they have only a weaker frontline, since they do not have that Nunu 2, we had the econ advantage, we were able to roll before them, and this is sometimes that happens in these slightly, so let's say the word how it is, degenerate metas, where a lot of players are playing into the same comp, same style. If you are the first one to roll, you have your ways of picking, and especially when it's so flexible in terms of these AP carries, if you are very good at your roll downs, you are able to simply take whatever you upgrade first, adjust your board around it, and play from there. But obviously, if you're playing from these lost streaks where you are, that's just the only way you're generally going to have enough gold to be rolling on something like 4-1. You do not want to be going down to 1 life. As you can see, we got fortunate right here. This is why we're able to set up for this win out spot right away. Picking up easy wins from here as we have our upgraded 5 costs. We have 2 durable tanks, and this Morgana tank is still performing quite well. Now, some have argued that they believe that she should receive a little bit more buffs, as her solo tankiness is a little bit weaker, but still her value comes in providing that durability to your team, which nicely synergizes together with these vanguards as well against the Mordekaiser here. No matchup for as the bard starts on him pretty much right away, and he's printing us 4 cost for even more econ, so I believe at this point we're just simply cruising our way to level 10. Could be capping around this Blitzcrank here, providing us 4 vanguard right away, and that would be a very strong board with many carries all around, and then we can utilize our extra items that we are going to be getting from the next dragon to maybe transition something onto him and move this Spear of Shojin. Now, again, you can see, so contested, Asol 1 there, but they're having a Cho'Gath 3, they're chasing a Cho'Gath 3, but let's see how we fare against the Asol 1. A busted unit, he's able to take out our Morgana, does get the Nunu to half health, but thankfully we simply have enough damage. But see, the Quiet Dog player right here makes the top 4 without 50, just the drop below 50 HP, and he's on Asol 1 at 5-5 still. I was hoping that the B patch would target the Asol, but we have to see if actually the range fix somehow makes him a little bit weaker. Now, I highly doubt it's going to make that much. We have a Blitz 2 coming in right there, so that's going to be a little thorn in our arse as we are trying to chase him, but it has to do what it has to do. Picking against another Darkstar player. At the end, we're in this meta where people are picking Earth on 2-1 just to force Darkstar. I do not think that's the worthwhile play. It's quite high risk play, as you are sacrificing not only your augment pick but also a single component, so you're low on component tempo just to make the single emblem. Now 6 Darkstar obviously in itself is quite strong, but so contested of a meta, and I do not think, even though the Asol is busted, that it's a completely worthwhile investment. Find another Sona 2, try to maybe backdoor a Sona 3, Blitz pair right on for ourselves, Karma pair, going to be giving up on the Sona to complete our Karma pair. Do not exactly find that Blitz 2 right away. Could be just going with the Adaptive or Spirit Visage here. Okay, another Spirit Visage could transition then the Visage and the Adaptive onto the Nunu, and Karma adjust accordingly. Against Impatious Panda, a very non-content creator and caster right here. Very nice to see him in his high elo lobbies. Druid's an absolute beast. We find our Blitz 2 right away, so now we are transitioning some of these items right there. Get it. Okay, the Visage on the Morgana makes a little bit more sense. Get the tankiness on her, and you have that mana. He absolutely wants that mana for an extra cast. Trying to move our Nunu just to hit, and now they have made it to the Cho'Gath 4 and Blitz. Our Brazilian Soul 2, and you can see how massive this dude right here is with double Vormogs holding down their fort while El Cerulean is trying to nuke the front lines. Now, thankfully, this is a Ghost Fight, so we're picking up an easy win right here, but let's see how we fare in a head-to-head. We get our last mod right away on And this could potentially be one of the swings of the fight. They have made it to an insane cap right there. They have hit all their carries. They have a Jin too with the Void Staff, but nonetheless, they have these 5 costs and they are in a very strong position. Obviously, this Cho 4 is going to be hard for us to get through, but we have that damage jump from the Bard on the tanks. Our Nunu does sort of stun all their front line, not their back line, not exactly what we wanted. Now the second Nunu hits there. This is going to be a close fight, but we are able to pick up a win against them. Still quite close. If that new second Nunu hadn't landed exactly there, it would be quite rough to sort out. We get 3 items for our Blitzcrank. Spear of Shojin is completely fine. Just get him to cast. Now let's see if any changes in the positioning could potentially sway the matchup. They have gotten their 3rd item on the Jin, and seems they hit an IE, which is the absolute best item you can find for him. We go with the middle position with our Nunu, and we are staying still on the same side, but our Sona is getting chipped. The Nunu ult does go to the other side, and now their Aurelian on the sliver of health has made it to our backline and cleared us up. 2 very high cap board states. Now a little bit greediness on one of the side by taking nerfs, but at least they did. This player did it so as the last augment had that Cho'Gath 4, which has been stacking all the time, and the way you make your Cho'Gath so strong is by having him early stacks. Absolute titans of this meta fighting against each other. We have a single Econ augment, they have a little bit given up combat power, so it's kind of expected that potentially it could be happening, as I don't think the charge transfer is the strongest combat option that we could absolutely have gotten. But Dan mech'd Asol with the Darkstar Emerald is an absolute beast here with the full crit build as well, and having that conduit buff for himself to gain the mana. Nonetheless, our play, we identified that we are going to be comfortable enough to be playing from this loss streak position, went with our roll down, secured a crucial fight win, and identified that even though we are unable to hit, we retain to be flexible in our roll down, and notice that we are unable to really hit these 4-cost carries since they are contested in so many ways. Thankfully, we were able to secure our frontline through flexing again this round, this Nunu, this Morgana, and then we simply utilized the item advantage that we got through having this 1 overflow to have a very stable stage 4, and then through our god selections we were able to complete our 5 costs, which allowed us to cruise throughout the later stages of this game, going on a 13 win streak here and just losing out to an absolute another Giga Cap player. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something new. As usual, my meta sheet is available in the link down below. I'll be doing updates to it over the weekend, as I've had some IRL fires that I had to extinguish today, but all the cheat sheets are going to be there and going to be returning to videos very soon. Have a good one.